Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. There's a lot of controversy, a lot of chaos in Washington, D.C. because of the debt limit. Congress has to vote on suspending. In fact, there has been progress in suspending the debt limit. But folks, this is very important because without that initiative, the United States will not be able to pay its bills, and the country, the United States of America, will go into default because the country simply cannot afford to pay its bills and fulfill its obligations. It's like this. If your credit card is maxed out, all you do is have the limit on your credit card raised. Well, you can't do that, and neither can I. But Congress can do that when it comes to the debt limit of the country. It's simply saying, hey, we're going to allow ourselves to print more money. We're going to allow ourselves to borrow more money from ourselves so that we don't default on our financial obligations. And by the way, in case you're wondering, what are the obligations of the U.S. government? Well, the U.S. government has a lot of expenses. If you are a Medicare recipient, that's an expense for the U.S. government. If you receive Social Security, that's an expense for the U.S. government. If you receive unemployment benefits or stimulus checks or have received any of them, that's an expense for the U.S. government. But folks, what is actually happening here is that Democrats have released a video showing the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell contradicting himself on the debt ceiling when former President Trump was in the White House and now with President Biden in the White House. Let's roll the tape and see the hypocrisy of the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. Let's watch.
So you are expecting then to raise the debt ceiling once again?
Of course, we will never have America default. But we raised the debt ceiling because America can't default. I mean, that would be a disaster. Republicans are united in opposition to raising the debt ceiling.
And folks, here's a tweet on your screen from Jim Acosta from CNN. If America defaults and the impasse drags on, the ensuing recession would wipe out nearly 6 million jobs and lift the nation's unemployment rate to nearly 9%, according to a report from Moody's. This is unbelievable. In the meantime, House Democrats, specifically the Liberal Democrats, I'm talking about the House Progressive Caucus Chair, Pramila Jayapal, has promised that more than half of her members will vote down the bipartisan infrastructure agreement on the 27th of September if it's not accompanied by a $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill. Folks, I've covered this elsewhere on our channel, but this is a showdown between Liberal Democrats on one side and the Democratic leadership, including House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on the other side. Let's roll the tape and hear from Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal speaking with Jake Tapper from CNN. Let's watch.
How many members are there of the House Democratic Progressive Caucus?
There are 96 members, and over half are absolutely committed to making sure we deliver both bills at the same time.
So 48 Democrats will vote against the House infrastructure bill if it does not come with the budget reconciliation package. Is that right?
More than half of our members will vote for both bills. And this was the deal, Jake, that came out of the Senate when progressive senators passed the bipartisan bill in the Senate. It was on the specific understanding and commitment that both bills would move together. And so now we want to make sure that both bills are moving together, and we're going to hold to that commitment. And so, yes, more than half our members will not move the bipartisan bill without the reconciliation bill being passed.
And clearly, Congresswoman Jayapal was busy. She actually spoke with another CNN host on voting down the bipartisan infrastructure agreement if it's not accompanied by the $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill. Here's a quote from her. Other people are willing to crash the entire Democratic agenda by refusing to come together on the reconciliation bill. She's talking about the one and only conservative Democrat from West Virginia, Joe Manchin, and the Democrat from Arizona, Senator Kristen Sinema. Let's roll the tape and hear from the Progressive Caucus Chair, the Democrat, Congressman Pramila Jayapal.
I'm actually saying that other people are willing to crash the entire Democratic agenda by refusing to come together on the reconciliation bill, which was the promise that was made. So I want to be very clear. We are the only people in the room right now that have said we want both bills done. There are other people in the Democratic Party who are saying we only want the infrastructure bill, and maybe or maybe not we'll get to the other bill. We are saying let's stick to the deal that was made, both bills, so that we can deliver real results.
And in the meantime, we have a response from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi responding to Congressman Pramila Jayapal. She simply said, "We'll all cross these bridges when we come to them." Wow. She said, we'll all cross these bridges when we come to them. Let's roll the tape and hear what House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said.
We're going to get our work done on our reconciliation bill, as we have always said.
By Monday?
Yeah, but that's the plan. That's the plan.
But Pramila Jayapal said she will vote against this with half of her caucus if it's not passed Congress by then. If reconciliation not passed Congress by then.
You know what? We'll all cross these bridges when we come to them. This is called the legislative process.
And speaking of the debt limit, folks, it's very clear that former President Trump is in tune with the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell about the debt ceiling. Here's a statement from the former President of the United States saying the only powerful tool that Republicans have to negotiate with is the debt ceiling, and they would be both foolish and unpatriotic not to use it now. The way I look at it, when the Democrats are proposing on so many levels, what they're proposing will destroy our country. Therefore, Republicans have no choice but to do what they have to do, and the Democrats will have no choice but to concede all of the horror they are trying to inflict upon the future of the United States. Unrelated, but likewise, their so-called voting rights bill will be the end of our democracy. Don't give up or concede, Republicans. This is the ultimate representation of the people. Let me know what you think of this statement, if you will, from former President Trump. In the meantime, Senator Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts was asked if Democrats will raise the debt limit on their own after the Republicans blocked a stopgap bill, and she fired back. Are we hostage to Republicans who are threatening to blow up a part of the economic system because they want to do that for politics? Wow. Let's roll the tape and see what Senator Elizabeth Warren had to say. Let's watch.
You have no choice. Why not just...
What is no choice? Why aren't you asking the Republicans about this?
Well, we are asking. They're saying they're going to block. They're saying they're going to block it this week. So then what?
What reason?
Well, you know the reason. You've heard the reason, but I'm asking you.
Actually, I haven't heard the reason.
They say that they're not going to do it because of everything that's happening on the Democratic side of the agenda. But regardless, if they're going to vote against it, don't you guys have the obligation to raise it on yourself?
Are we hostage to Republicans who are threatening to blow up a part of the economic system because they want to do that for politics? That's just not where we should be as a nation. None of us were elected to come here just to cause trouble so that the Republicans can get reelected.
So the procedure here is important, Kate, because what the Democrats are pursuing is a measure that would require 60 votes in the Senate to raise the debt ceiling. That means 50 Democrats, 10 Republicans. Republicans are saying they will not give them the 10 votes. They say the Democrats should use a procedure that would allow them to approve it with just Democratic votes alone. That procedure takes about 2 weeks to do. They need to raise the debt limit by mid-October, and they also don't want to own that politically toxic vote of raising the borrowing limit. So you're seeing what's happening here, Kate, a slow-moving train wreck, concerns about not getting out of this, and uncertain what will happen in the days ahead.
In the meantime, folks, as the Democrats are going to war with the Republicans over the debt ceiling, President Biden has been busy. In fact, he just announced that the United States will donate 500 million Pfizer vaccine doses to low and middle income countries. So basically, the United States government will pay for these vaccine doses. Pfizer has to be paid for these doses. And in some cases, they are selling these doses at cost, but they are getting paid by the US government, in other words, from our taxpayer dollars. And these are being donated to low and middle income countries. Let me know whether you agree or disagree with this initiative. Let's roll the tape and hear from President Biden as he announces that the United States will donate 500 million Pfizer COVID vaccines to low and middle income countries. Let's roll the tape and hear from the President of the United States. Let's watch.
The United States is buying another 500 million doses of Pfizer to donate to low and middle income countries around the world. This is another 500 million doses that will all be shipped by this time next year. And it brings our total commitment of donated vaccines to over 1.1 billion vaccines to be donated. Put another way, for every one shot we've administered to date in America, we have now committed to do 3 shots to the rest of the world.
So that's it, folks. A lot happening in the world of politics and in Washington, D.C. Hopefully, you've come to realize that we work hard on this channel every single day, bringing you the latest news that impacts the country, the economy, as well as our money. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. Check out my introductory video. Most of our viewers and subscribers have already seen it. I encourage you to check it out as well. You'll learn a little bit more about how I have the honor, the fortune, the privilege of living the American dream, and how I was able to overcome the cycle of poverty that you see on your screen right now. Check out our video and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Also, follow me on Twitter. This right here is my Twitter feed. My Twitter handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.